During this Connected Investor Success Short, you'll hear 3 real estate investing pros explain exactly how to implement the strategies that made them millionaires. Brought to you by PrivateLenders.com, where real estate investors go to get private funding for all of their real estate investments. Make sure to check out the links in the description of this video for full lessons and free giveaways. Let's get started. His name is Brian Crabtree, and today he's going to explain exactly how to solve your funding problems as a real estate investor. Now let's go ahead and jump into kind of the 3 main, not necessarily steps in this episode, but traps that banks throw out to real estate investors. And number 1 was the time it takes to get the loan. Number 2 was the legal structures the banks make you have don't allow for creative asset protection. And then number 3 was how the bank's process takes all the power away from the real estate investor. So let's go ahead and start with number 1.
Banks are nightmares. And I mean, there are some good banks, but most aren't. As you said in your commercial, I joked about banks suck. And I couldn't say it better. Banks suck because you have regulators and attorneys deciding how to make lending decisions, not lenders lending money. And they don't really understand what it's like to be you, the investor who's striving to become rich, or the investor, God forbid you are rich. So don't engage the negative, toxic world of banking circa 2019 into your business and investing. It'll destroy you. You've got to find individuals or firms that lend to people like you and lose sight for a little while what the interest rate is.
All right, Brian, back to the banks. Let's talk about why the banks really handicap real estate investors when it comes to setting up their corporate structure and legal entity when they're buying properties.
I'm dealing with another situation now where, because of a loan on a construction project in housing, my wife was on the loan and I wasn't, and I wish I had been. And I can't get into the details of it, but it's a deposition coming up and I am hindered by the fact I'm not on that loan because I'm the one that dealt with everything. But the fact there are these guidelines makes banks so unwilling to take risks on people like me because the regulations are stacked against them.
They take the power away, right? Can you explain, when you say the banks take all the power away, what does that really mean to you?
So banks constantly instruct you as a buyer to take things out of a contract that they don't like for whatever ridiculous reason that exposes you to loss.
Brian, you contribute a lot of your success to your critical thinking and your just overall judgment. Why do you think this has played such a big role in your success?
Well, I think it plays a big role in any real estate investor's success. You've got to take situations that there's a lot of people in the real estate business, a lot of real estate agents, banks, professionals, etc. They're very black and white, and it's either one way or the other. And what's in reality in real estate, which makes, I hate, not gray area in a bad way, but when you can operate in the gray area and understand the gray area, you can really be successful because that's where the money's made. Not in an unethical sense. And I think critical thinking allows you to say, this is what I'm dealing with. This is my experience. This is the best solution. Act. And then when you have decisiveness and judgment, you can succeed in anything. This business isn't hard at all. We make it hard.
The Connected Investors app connects you with investors, notifies you of available properties, helps locate cash buyers, and secure private funding to close deals. Set up in seconds to become a member of the Connected Investors social network. Now you can scroll through your main feed to find cash buyers, see investment properties not available to the general public, and network with investors by adding your own comments to a thread to keep the conversation going. The Control Center is your connection to add properties to sell, start new discussions, connect with local investors, and even find private funding. The Notifications tab will keep you alerted to new investment properties and offers. You'll also find new friend requests to connect directly with the community to build your network. From the property marketplace, you'll be able to find, favorite, and make offers on investment properties. Download Connected Investors today to find, figure, fund, and flip investment properties on the go.
So I'd like to introduce you to the one, the only James. Here we go. So Let's go ahead and dive right into it. People want to know about probate. So James, before we started and everyone that's watching, we broke this down into 3 main steps. The mindset, not what you think. You're really going to enjoy this. Number 2, who you're actually dealing with. And then number 3, negotiating the deal. All right, let's talk about mindset. Number 1,
Right.
take it away.
So you got to get your head in the game. You have to understand that you're coming from a position of helping people, because the reason why they're selling that house is they have to become liquid to satisfy the debts within the probate. So you're really helping people.
So you got your mindset right. Now let's talk about all the different people that you could potentially talk to.
Okay. Well, there's a couple different players in probate. You could be talking to what's called the personal representative, also referred to as the PR. So the personal representative is really the one where the buck stops, meaning they're the executor of the estate. Okay. The probate attorneys take their marching orders from the PRs. The other person you could be making contact with is actually the probate attorney.
All right, let's move to number 3, which is negotiating.
There's a certain way you have to negotiate, especially if you're dealing with attorneys, because attorneys, you know, there's an old saying in probate, the only ones that win in probate are the attorneys, because, you know, it's called billable hours. Anytime they pick up the phone with their clients, so in actuality, they want the probate to go as long as possible. That way, you know, they make bank. Okay, so when you're talking to attorneys, you want to make sure that you're professional, you're concise, you have your facts, okay? Attorneys deal in facts.
You contribute a lot of your success to a habit of observation. Why do you think that's played such a big role in your success?
I learned this when I was a stockbroker for a brief stint. I noticed certain trends that, you know, you see these kids walk by and they'd have the new pair of jeans on, and I'd be like, okay, what company is that from? And you'd find out, and a lot of times they were just really small startup companies that kind of caught fire with the youth. And I'm like, that's something to invest in. I mean, like, take for instance what's happening right now in I always tell people when I speak at area clubs and so forth, they'll say, well, what is the one key to success? And I say, well, where everybody else is going, you go in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And they're like, huh? I said, yeah, you go where they ain't fishing. I had a mentor when I was a kid, 17, 18 years old, before I went in the Air Force. And he didn't get past the 5th grade, but he was a wealth of knowledge. And he used to always say to me, Jim, you go where they ain't fishing. And I'm like, okay. So it really didn't mean much to me then. But throughout the years, when I was going through the Air Force, I said, I know exactly what he means. When everybody's going to one fishing hole, you know, you should go down to the fishing hole down that you have by yourself, and who knows what you may catch.
All right, Alex, we before the show started, we talked about kind of the top 3 things that anyone needs to do to make sure they have a good listing. And you broke that down as knowing your target, understanding a unique way to position your property, and the tangible benefits of your property. Let's go ahead and talk about kind of knowing your target and why that's so important.
Yeah, for sure. I think for no matter what you're selling, whether like in this case it'd be like your real estate, rental property, whether it's a bag shoe though, like the biggest thing that I think is just knowing who you're selling to though, because if you don't know who you're selling to, then you won't really know how to appeal to them and what they need.
Figuring out a way to uniquely position your property. So why don't you talk us through how you advise some of your clients on that?
Yeah, so I think it's related to that though. Like once you spend some time studying your target market customers though, the next thing you should do is definitely spend some time studying your product. I guess in that case, if you're Airbnb or whether like you're selling real estate or whatever, it would be that house. The house would be your property. There's like a few different ways you could position yourself. Like, you know, you could position yourself on price though. Like if you want to be you know, kind of like the cheapest place, you know, whether that's a hostel or a premium price though, like $400 a night or more, you know, that's going to be different ways where you could position your listing though. Another way could be providing some kind of I guess unique experience though. Like one of the hosts that I helped though, he was actually a cook though. So like he, part of his service, whenever someone would book with his place, but he would like cook them like a 3-course meal for one of the nights that they stayed there.
Let's move into the third step here. And we loosely talked about the kind of tangible, intangible or tangible benefits. Can you kind of help me fill in the blanks here? My handwriting's tough to read.
The third one is like, once you're kind of like looking, it's kind of related to point 2, like in the first 2 points, but once you start looking for ways to position your place, like you should also like kind of like highlight or whatever those unique aspects are, and ensure that they can relate to what your customer is looking for. It's kind of just to make it really simple. Like say like if it's just a bed though, like if you have like a nice king size bed though, you could some ways you could probably provide a benefit, like is the mattress extra firm, is it extra soft, and then why would being soft be better for your guest though? And then you could probably say like it'll be provide them with a better night's sleep after like a long day out exploring the city.
Alex, you contribute a lot of your success to your desire to seek out areas of self-improvement. Why do you think that's played such a big role in your success?
I guess I'm not sure. I guess like it's for me, I feel like, we only like have one life. So it's like, I might as well try to make it the best that I can though. Like, I don't want to just like, give 30 or 40%. If I could, get a bit better, maybe 50 or 60% or 70 or who knows what the possibilities are. I'm going to try to find a way to like, just be the best version of myself I can.
You can also throw your name into a drawing to win our $3,000 software called PIN that pinpoints all of the best deals in any market and all of the most active buyers and private lenders as well. So it's the one piece of software you need to find any type of deal, whether it's an apartment complex or a single family house. If you're looking for it, it's inside PIN, and we're going to give it to one of our lucky listeners who visit exactlyhow.com. If you're watching this live, go ahead and go there right now. We haven't picked the name yet. Throw your name into the hat and you might be walking away with this software.